This MP is the one that, if you attempt to educate your children or instill in them your wisdom and the wisdom of our people, they are going to rebel against you, and they're going to come back and hate everything that you stand for. That is a mean pathogen that was taught to our people many decades ago, and as a result, they decided to just let their children go out into the world and make their decisions for themselves. That's actually seen, as asinine as that is actually seen by intelligent people as the moral position in our community. No other race of people does this. No other race of people says, no, I'm going to refrain from teaching my children what's going on in the world, what's happening in history. I'm going to refrain from teaching them what has come down from our ancestors. Instead, I'm going to let them know where they can access that information, like all of the other information out there, and then I'm just going to let them decide for themselves, because we know that if you don't do that, then they're just going to rebel. Hogwash. That is a mean pathogen that the anti-whites trained our people, infected our people with many decades ago, and has now come down to us as this somehow moral imperative. It is nonsense. Mm-hmm. Do not allow your children to be educated by our victimizers, because that is who is infecting them. That is who is educating them. That is who is brainwashing them, if you are not preparing them for the world out there. And the world out there is anti-white. They're not going to walk out into a bed of roses, into a bed of daisies, and find nothing but happiness at every corner. They're going to find anti-white hatred at every single corner that they visit. Everywhere they go, they're going to find ideas that undermine their self-confidence, that undermine their self-worth, that undermine their self-value, that undermine their own spirituality. Every single place they go. And if you are not telling them that this is going to happen when they reach out into the world on their own, then they will be infected by those things, and they will suffer as a consequence. And who is to blame? You are to blame, because you are the parents that are allowing it to happen. You are the parents who are allowing those children to become foot soldiers to harm more of our people in the future. I feel terrible for these white parents who come to me and they say, I love our people, I want to serve white well-being, but unfortunately, my children hate us.
Oh, my Lord.
They are responsible for their children hating us. Of course, the anti-whites bear the responsibility as well. But it's this desire to want to be able to just turn on the television, to watch the movie, to watch the television programming, to watch the sporting events. It's to go shopping. It's this desire to satisfy this endless need to produce and consume, and to push your children off to someone else's care. Of course, you have that moral sentiment that you're doing the right thing by not telling them what to think about what's going on in the world, by just shoving them off. And then, of course, they come back, and who do they hate, Mom and Dad? They hate the two of you. Why are you surprised when Jane and Johnny come home and they hate the two of you, and they hate their grandparents? I had a story a couple of weeks ago from a woman who told me how much she absolutely hated her grandfather because he was from Germany and was a child during World War II, and didn't also hate his family and didn't hate his heritage. If he had hated all of them, then he would have been okay. She hated him all the way up to the moment that he was put in the ground. And now, as an adult, many years later, she hates herself for hating him at that moment, because she's finally come to the reality that she had been trained to hate our people. She had been infected with these ideas to hate our people. And that is a result of the parents not intervening. So how do you handle like a really young child, for example? Well, it's really easy if you have a really young child and you see these advertisements that are promoting white erasure by way of race desecration, by way of miscegenation. When you see that sort of thing and you have a very young child, you don't have to get into a long discussion. You need only make the same face and the same sound that you would make when you see anything else that is displeasing. Simply make the same face and the same sound that you make when something else displeases you, that you would make and to convey that message to your child, that is how you convey it to a child that is very young. Your children will pick it up like this because it is instinctual to love your people. It is natural to want to preserve your own kind and to want to perpetuate your own kind. It runs against the spirit to be anti-white if you are white. It is a sickness to be anti-white if you are white. Your children will easily follow your lead. And as Clarion pointed out here, if you teach them in these little ways, and you do it in a calm way, as a loving and caring parent who is looking out for the welfare of the child, and that is exactly what is happening. And we're gonna get into in a little bit about how you are putting your children in harm's way if you let them go to school, whether public or private. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But if you care about their well-being at all, you need to be reaching into their lives every moment and teaching them about what they're going to see in the world. And ladies and gentlemen, when you teach your children about what's going to be, what they can expect in the world, say your child is coming up to whatever grade and you're not able to homeschool them yet or what have you, and you know that in the curricula of that year, they're going to be teaching them about slavery. You need to get to your child before those teachers get to your child, and you need to tell them what the teachers are going to be teaching, that it is anti-white, how it is anti-white, and in fact, this is what is the truth of the matter. Then what happens is your child goes to school and hears that messaging. And what does the child conclude? The child concludes that you are something akin to divinity. You have predicted the future for the child. They look to you then as the authority. If you wait, if the child goes into school and receives that messaging and comes back to you and you say, oh, no, it's actually something different, the child is going to find that dubious. The authority figures are the ones now at school, not you. The authority figures are the teacher or the admin or the principal or whoever these people are that are telling your children these anti-white lies, not you. If you predict their behavior before they engage in it and then they engage in it, you are seen as the authority. You are the person to whom your child or children will look moving forward. Vitally important. Let me read. We have here Ursa Major has super chatted $10